Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the audience. Good morning, honorable judges of the SMA World Competition 2025. And good morning to those who are just stumbling upon this video. My name is Muhammad Ali Hari Arizam, and I represent the first SMA, or the first high school of Surabaya. Today, I wish to discuss upon the House's move to give social service and skill training for those who are deemed to be gambling offenders instead of prison time. Before I move with my point, let us make clear upon where gambling stands within the law of Indonesia. So, from what I can find, gambling is dictated by two laws within Indonesia. This being KUHP Article 303 and Law 7 of 1974. They ban gambling with heavy penalties. These two laws are also based in the first moral principles of Pancasila. Now, from what I can understand, these are optimist law. They were designed to stop gambling when there was little to no gambling within the public. But however, this is not 1974 anymore, and the world has moved to digitalize, and so has gambling. With gambling being digitalized, our monies are being offshore to other nations, which definitely will cause an economic recession if we are not careful about it. So, is there any alternative for this law? Well, in fact, there is one alternative being introduced in January 2nd of next year. This being Law 1 of 2023, which introduces community service and probation supervision. I support this law, not because it only gives gambling addicts a way to be cured of their conditions, since remember, public opinion now has stated that gambling, instead of being a criminal offense, is more akin to something of a mental issue like depression. Now, data collected by PMC and Reuters have determined that 2.05% of adults are gambling addicts. With 2 million online gambling sites having been taken down, 3 million people being involved in the gambling ring, it's estimated that 1.5% of our national GDP is tied up in gambling, even though we outlawed it. So, even though the old law, the 1974 law, calls for action for those people to be incarcerated into prison, I determined that instead of building prisons, why don't we just build more rehab centers? Well, yes, the argument goes that most prisons in Indonesia suffers an overpopulation, being 92% and 105% respectively in the most major prisons in Indonesia. So, rather than building prisons, which does absolutely nothing to the economy, we'd rather build rehab centers. These rehab centers we can use for other medications such as depression, such as drugs, such as narcotics. It's a multifunction, but carefully needed thing in the modern world. So, I move and I support this new law being Law 1 of 2023, which introduces community service of 200 hours to 400 hours, counseling for the addicted, retribution for those who are victims who are drugged without their consent, and supervision as well as evolving sanctions, which means more times you do it, the more you will get punished. That is all from me. I hope you agree with my point of view, and as well for everything else, take care.